COVID-19 in the country is now 36,663. 15,105 patients have so far been discharged, while 789 deaths have been recorded across the country. The coronavirus pandemic has altered the way people do almost everything. While emphasis is on the prevention or management of the novel virus, people are mindful of what they consume, narrowing their options by limiting the choices they make, in spite of cravings. Becky Madujemo carried out an assessment on the current consumer behavior, and here is her discovery.
Prior to now, most people worked hard with a common motive: to become or maintain their position as big consumers. The aspiration was majorly driven by an appetite for luxury items. Then the coronavirus stepped out and everyone stepped in. Economies made a free fall. Income nosedived, forcing individuals and families to reevaluate their spending behavior. Needs were suddenly prioritized over wants. Although there's a semblance of what life once was before the total lockdown, the new normal has reformatted the retail industry on a global scale, ensuring that only the bare necessities make the shopping list.
So since coronavirus, you use your money to buy only food stuff, new, now only food stuff.
What are the one that can sustain you? Edible, food stuff, because children are too, everybody at all.
I spend my money provisions, foodstuffs, and toiletries. And
so you don't buy clothes anymore?
No, not at all. Not at all, because I make do with what I have for now.
While this newfound tact displayed in spending attitude is commendable, it invariably mirrors the uncertainty sparked by disruptions in all sectors. The small business owners who retail some commodities, now categorized as luxury goods, have been dealing with a massive drop in profit margin.
Now they are not patronizing us as it used to be. And most of them, when they come, they prefer staying outside and even discussing with you now, which does not really encourage business at all. Economically, it's contributing nothing to us.
Nobody is going to wear those elaborate skirts, like we used to have them before, those long, flowy dresses with frills and trills. Nobody is going to wear that anymore, because nobody, who is going to see you wear them anyway?
Many, like Stella, have cleverly switched to vocations that have become money spinners because of the pandemic.
Things that will move well now is this face shield, face masks, hand sanitizers, consumable things.
She's not alone. There are countless others who now produce personal protective equipment or retail edible commodities. This shift in spending pattern is widely embraced. But will this precautionary use of money outlive the pandemic era?
If after the pandemic life comes back to normal, his salary is stable, is not reduced or impaired in any way, and if prices of goods, the basic things he normally would buy for sustenance, if the prices remain the same, he will go back to how he used to behave before the pandemic.
In other words, when it comes to consumer behavior, old habits die hard. But just now, modification and prudence govern spending.
Non-compliant bars and nightclubs operating despite the ban on social gatherings. The Lagos State government has sealed off non-compliant bars and nightclubs operating despite the ban on social gatherings. Uzezi Arure reports that the enforcement saw several evidences of non-compliance at different locations in Lagos State.
The ban on public gatherings became imperative due to the daily increase in the number of coronavirus cases. The exercise commenced around 10 p.m. on Saturday. It was observed that the fund seekers at different locations did not adhere to any of the stipulated preventive measures against COVID-19. As they nonchalantly enjoyed the night, the presence of the government officials brought shock and confusion, making them to flee, leaving behind their valuables.
The government is making several efforts to make sure that we curb COVID-19 pandemic. The directive of the governor is that no face masks, no entry. And apart from that, we have not given directive that they should open beer parlor.
While the officials carried out their activities without resistance in some areas, they were obstructed in some places and denied voluntary entry.
I hope you know that the gathering here is in direct conflict with what the Lagos state government has stipulated regarding COVID-19. We met people here seated.
Some of the facility owners also claimed to be unaware such activities are carried out in their hotels.
Is this takeaway, madam? Is this takeaway? Is this takeaway?
This residential building was closed down for carrying out social and public activities, which is illegal under the law. The Lagos state government reminded the people that the ban placed on social gatherings remains intact and will continue to clamp down on offenders as long as the lockdown continues. In Lagos, Uzezi Arure, NTA News.
And to other news, the Federal Ministry of Transportation says it will enforce strict compliance with COVID-19 advisory as measures are on course to get the railway sector back to business. Transportation Minister Rotary Amechi gave the indication at Agbo Rail Station during an inspection tour of the Warri-Itakpe standard gauge line.
Everybody must obey the rules. That's why I said here that we are going to increase the presence of police in all the coaches. The implication, therefore, is that when you enter inside the coach with your face mask, if the passengers are not satisfied with that, they should go and force you to wear your face mask, or the police should force you, no matter how big you are.
The minister expressed satisfaction with the level of work done at the project site so far. Rail transport is a key driver for industrialization and, by expansion, modernization to boosting economy and job creation. This was highlighted at the presentation of a book, Dare to Live My Passion, memoir of an authentic railwayman. It was written by Nta2, Nigeria's first managing director of Nigerian Railway Corporation. Ken Igbeluge has the report.
The Railway Modernization Initiative in Nigeria is aimed at replacing the existing narrow gauge system with the standard gauge, while allowing high-speed train operations on the railway network. In the last 6 years, this present administration has invested enormous resources to the expansion of rail projects to ease congestion on roads and to boost the economy. To this end, the launch of the book, Dare to Live My Passion, provides an insight into improving the strategic master plan of the railway subsector.
It's easy to work with Transport Rail, work with this thing to prepare the 21st year strategic. What you see them implementing now, the standard gauge, is my job, my branch. The Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology, which is bringing up engineers in Nigeria, it was created by me.
To the Nigerian railway historian and those who may wish to sustain the current tepid revival of the railway system in Nigeria, his comparison of the success of railway performance during the British era, 1945 to 60, the good old days, as he called them, the post-independent Nigerian management transition years, 1960 to 78.
Many described the book as a credible document that emphasized the selfless service rendered by the author towards adding value to the rail development in the country.
His house is railway. Everything about him is railway. Authentic railway. He worked for railway. And every course he went to while in the railway, he tried to excel.
One lesson is that greatness is really a function of sacrifice. There is nothing like leadership if you don't have sacrificial giving of self to advance the common good of all.
Nta2 is not just the railwayman. He lived all his life within the Nigerian Railway Corporation quarters and rose to become the first indigenous managing director of the corporation. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
Now, away from transportation, the National Arts Theatre is a symbolic monument for performing arts and other forms of entertainment in Nigeria. Following years of neglect, the theatre lost its glory. It was therefore a revolutionary move when the Bankers Committee, under the supervision of the Central Bank of Nigeria, took over the management of the historic asset for rehabilitation. Abolade Salami reports on the past, present, and future of the center.
Nigeria, Africa's most populous country, takes pride in its artistry and cultural diversity. It was to further elevate performing arts among nations of the continent that the National Arts Theatre was conceived and constructed in 1976. A year after its inauguration, the magnificent structure hosted Africa's best and finest, who converged on Lagos for the epic Festac 77. The beauty of the auditorium was complemented by local and foreign performance, as well as teeming audiences. Photo of the Coliseum circulated in the mass media long after the festival. However, as the years went by, its beauty began to fade, just as attendance diminished, until it became just a visible memory.
National Theatre has remained what it was in the late 80s till now. Nobody has put a kobo to maintain this place, this iconic facility. Nobody has done anything about it. And suddenly something very marvelous is coming to happen in our time, where National Theatre is going to be taken to a new height. What could be better than this? Nothing could be better than this.
Resuscitating the National Arts Theatre has been the dream of successive administrations. Although proposals and efforts were made towards achieving this plan, none restored the dignity of the edifice. For a lasting solution, the present administration has taken the bull by the horn.
Contrary to what naysayers are saying, no one is hijacking the National Theatre. It remains our national heritage. This public-private partnership is a win-win for all. It restores this iconic edifice to its glory days, which we would have been able to do on our own, and it develops the land that has been lying fallow for over 4 decades.
The new public-private partnership, which has the financial backing of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bankers Committee, aims to hand over a modern entertainment arena.
This was a critical factor behind the Bankers Committee and the CBN's decision, following our annual retreat in December 2018, to set up the Creative Industry and Financing Initiative with a major focus on 4 pillars, namely music, movie, fashion, and information technology. Our goal is to support startups and existing businesses across these 4 pillars, as well as foster the development of a Nigerian Creative Industry Center in 4 major cities. Towards the realization of this objective, the CBN and Bankers Committee intend to support this venture for the redevelopment and transformation of this National Arts Theatre with over 25 billion naira of its initial funding.
Performing artists are excited and appreciative of the federal government's passion for the industry, which denotes inspired the resuscitation of the famous entertainment citadel.
This present day and present time that the federal government and the Lagos state government with the CBN and the Bankers Committee are looking towards that direction, it's a welcome idea. A very big, I'll call it a very big development in the right direction.
So I'm hoping, seriously hoping that all the promises made, will be fulfilled. It will be a pleasant shock. It will be a pleasant surprise. Because I see no reason why a national heritage, if you go out of the shores of Nigeria and you tell anybody, and I'm telling you from personal experience, and you tell anybody that you've performed at the National Theatre, immediately your status is elevated. They start looking at you with reverence because they know the importance of their national theatres to their countries.
Going by the blueprint, the National Arts Theatre will be relaunched in 18 months. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, Nta2 News.
You're watching Nta2 News at 1 o'clock. We pause here for a break. The news continues shortly. Do stay with us.
Kash, na gaji zama gida. Haka wasu mutane suke cewa a birane irin Abuja da Lagos, inda gwamnatin kasar ta hana mutane fita. Wasu na ikirarin cewa hakan baya aiki. Wannan ba gaskiya bane, domin hakan yana aiki. Mun gani a Wuhan da ke kasar China, inda cutar coronavirus ta fara. Gwamnatin kasar ta hana mutane fita, wanda hakan ya hana ɗaukar cutar da kuma yaɗa ta. Shawara ta gare ku ita ce a rage zuwa taɗi a irin wannan lokaci da ake ciki. Mu haɗu a bidiyo na gaba, sai an ji ku. Imana koma gida.
Thanks for staying with us. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has presented the 10th persecution witness against Ismaila Mustafa, also known as Momfa, before Justice Mohammed Liman of the Federal High Court, Lagos. Tunde Saiki has details.
The EFCC is prosecuting Ismaila Mustafa, also known as Mofa, and his company, Ismaila Global Investment Limited, on a 22-count charge of cyber fraud and money laundering to the tune of 33 billion naira. At the resumed trial, the EFCC, through its counsel Rotary, invited the 10th prosecution witness, Alhaji Ahmadu Muhammad, an uncle to Mofa. Alhaji Muhammad told the court that he and one other person are directors in Ismaila Global Investment Limited, but that Mofa is the sole signatory to the account of the company in Fidelity Bank. He told the court that his main duty was to buy euro equivalent of the money sent to Mofa and send it back in cash to the recipient on Mofa's directives. During cross-examination by the defense counsel, Boyiga Oyewole, SAN, Alhaji Ahmadu Muhammad said Ismaila Global Investment Limited is a separate company from Mofa's Bureau de Change. The trial judge, Justice Mohammed Liman, then adjourned hearing on an application filed by the defense counsel for the release of the properties of Mofa seized by the EFCC till July 24, 2020. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, Nta News.
And away from judiciary, among measures taken to curb the spread of COVID-19 in Nigeria was the suspension of religious gatherings and centers where large crowds congregate. Diana Ajale visited some worship centers in Lagos to check out the current mode of worship.
This is one of the popular worship centers located in Lagos Island, where thousands of people usually troop in to observe their service, especially on a Sunday. But as it is now, no activity is going on here, which reveals churches and other worship centers in Lagos State still remain closed due to COVID-19 lockdown. It is a new terrain for worshippers across the Lagos State who have had to stay away from weekly service for months. A visit to a few churches in Lagos Metropolis, which remains the epicenter of coronavirus in Nigeria, revealed that worshippers have embraced online services, a trend that began in April this year.
What people are just doing now is sitting at home, which makes no difference between watching an ordinary television show. Unlike coming together, having that serenity in the presence of God, coming close to the other, confessing our sins, it's no more there.
I miss the service, I miss the communion that we took every Sunday.
In spite of the eased lockdown across the country to enable individuals and various organizations return to their regular activities, places of worship were exempted for safety reasons.
Because COVID-19 is real. May God save us. We are trying our best to reach our members online, and the response has been so nice, so good, but at times we will have network failure and so on. So these are the things that are besetting us.
the faith has been kept alive despite the lockdown. People are opportune to participate in the Holy Mass from their homes because we are able to televise this every Sunday and every day, and our members have been following faithfully.
Respondents, however, appeal to other Nigerians comply with the guidelines in order to relegate COVID-19 for good. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, Nta News.
The federal government has appealed to Rotary International to leverage on its community engagement strategy to assist Nigeria in mitigating the COVID-19 community spread in the country. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed made the appeal when he granted audience to the newly elected governor of Rotary International District 9125 in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
Known globally for its community service and the promotion of peace, the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said Rotary Club is therefore relevant today in the midst of the present raging pandemic in history, pointing out that as at the moment, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected about 14 million people globally with over 592 deaths. Nigeria has a total of 34,854 cases and 796 deaths as at Friday morning. Therefore, it will need every support and assistance, as the federal government through the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has continued to battle the pandemic, but with a conviction that it cannot do it alone.
Specifically, the Rotary can help in setting up sample collection centers across the country to increase the number of tests, which is a crucial step in our trace, test, isolate, and treat strategy. Today, we have increased the number of laboratories for COVID-19 tests from just 2 in January this year to 40. And we are ready to test as many Nigerians as possible in order to curtail the spread of the virus.
On Nigeria's polio-free status, the minister commended Rotary for their great role.
I made this appeal because of Rotary's great role in the recent eradication of polio in Nigeria. Working through Rotary, Nigeria's Polio Plus Committee, this respected organization helped vaccination to reach the remote areas of the country to ensure that every child received the polio vaccine. The result is what we have today, a polio-free Nigeria.
The newly elected governor of Rotary International District 9125, Jumoke Bamiboye, expressed gratitude to the minister and assured that Rotary International District 9125 will energize a robust relationship with the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture to promote, among other things, Nigeria's rich culture and heritage. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
That's it on the news at 1 o'clock. But before we go, a reminder that you make conscious efforts to adhere strictly to COVID-19 precautionary measures. Do so for your safety and that of your loved ones. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon.